Hello, everyone. It's Alexis with Create Your Future. And you guys, today we're back with another video. We have Anna joining us, who's a coach on our team and a law of attraction expert. And today we're talking about how to understand your mind, and more importantly, how to understand your subconscious mind, how to impress the subconscious mind, how to hack your mind so you get what you want through your mental diet. Before we get started, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Please hit the bell icon in the box below and you get notified every time that we post new videos, which is daily. All right, so Anna, just jump in, say hi, and about this. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Today's topic is about techniques and different techniques, because I had a conversation with one of my clients and I could relate, because I was exactly like that when you start manifesting and you understand the power of your mind, that you manifest everything, you start well, through the videos on YouTube especially, you start trying out new techniques. And sometimes it seems like you need the technique to manifest. And what happens is that you start trying this technique, that technique, and this new technique. I need to do this, I need to do that. What it does is that you keep trying new things, you don't persist, and you give all your power away to the actual technique. If you think about the fact that you have been manifesting all your life, and we always say this, you always manifest and you will always manifest, and that happens through your mind. You can't stop the manifestation flow. It happens, like whether you want it or not. You haven't been doing techniques until you learn them, right? Mm-hmm. So what is important to understand, that it's not the technique that manifests, but what the technique does, which is impresses your subconscious mind. It's your subconscious mind that manifests. It's the programming that you give your mind that manifests. So the technique is, first of all, there are some things that just don't work. There are a lot of things out there that don't work. People make up a lot of things. I have tried them all. When I started, like everyone does this, I think we just try everything because we want the thing that we want. And it's okay. But you need to come to the point where you find something or several things, depending on you, that actually works for you and that is actually fun. Because we tend to, as I said, give the power away to the technique, that I need to do this to manifest, and then you watch another video and they say something else. Oh, then I need to do this to manifest, and you're all over the place. And sometimes, I think sometimes that is why it seems like a hard work, because you do things that you don't like. It's not natural. It's not natural to your way of thinking, the way your mind works, and manifestation process becomes an unpleasant chore that you just need to do because I have to do this because I want my SP. There are easier ways to manifest, and it doesn't need to be a chore, a work. Like, oh my God, now I have to do this. I haven't been affirming for an hour. Oh, I haven't been scripting 5 times today. Like, you can, all those things manifest, but again, it's not the technique, it's not the thing, it's not the scripting or affirming that manifests. It's when something is impressed on your subconscious mind that manifests. You just need to find the way that works best for you to impress your own subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm. Totally, right? And I think it's such an interesting topic, because if you're approaching manifesting from like doing what you're saying, like the hunting down for a technique and doing all these things, like you're also really trying to be like your own coach, and you're trying to therapize your own mind, because that's what you're doing. Whether you're doing a visualization in some kind of scene, or you're doing your affirmations, or whatever you're doing, you're trying to change something, whether it's like your relationship with a specific person, or it's your programming about money. You're trying to change whatever's going on subconsciously with a new impression, so that pushes out and that influences your reality. So, and if you're doing all these things and you might not even know, it's coming to mind that you might not even know like how the mind works or what the mind is composed of. So just to go over for everybody, your mind has 3 components. It has each of us has a conscious mind, a subconscious mind, and then a critical faculty in between. I think we talked about this last week, but the conscious mind is 8 to 10%, or some people say 5%. Doesn't matter. Like, your conscious thinking is the smallest part of you. Your subconscious mind is the biggest part of you. 88 to 90 to 95% of you is subconscious. In between, your conscious mind, your subconscious mind is a gatekeeper, like a critical mind that holds the information in your subconscious mind in there. So all the techniques are to put the critical faculty down so you get into the subconscious mind. But, you know, it's like there's different things for different people. And I think that people on like lovely YouTube, because like we talk a lot about mental diet because that's what we feel works the most, but it really is also about visualizing. Because if you're doing a mental diet and you're saying affirmations, you're probably seeing them in your mind too if you're a visual person, right? Well, like there's some people on YouTube who are like so gung-ho on one thing, and they have so much evidence of that one thing. And I always wonder, is it because that one thing really works for them? You know? So just throwing that in there.
Yeah, I totally agree. Also during coaching, like different clients want different things when they come on one-on-one coaching. I always start with the mental diet because you think thoughts during the day, again, whether you want it or not. So if you have a negative programming and you think a lot of negative thoughts during the day, and that is natural, you want to change that. And you do that through mental diet and paying attention to your thoughts during the day. Definitely do that. And some clients just do that. Some clients just want to affirm, change the programming. Like I have this thing that keeps coming up. What do I do? And then we go over how do you change it through mental diet, through affirming. What kind of kinds of affirmations to use, etc. Some clients are really visual and they want to use visualization. And if you have this talent, that natural thing in you that you are visual, why not use it? It manifests. Everything in you that it comes from your mind, everything that happens in your mind manifests. Affirmations do, but so does visualization. I also have some clients who say, I really want to visualize, like I really want to do other things than affirming all day, but I don't see pictures. I don't know how to do. Use sounds, use conversations, hear other people tell you things. Again, this is happening in your mind, which means it manifests. It has the power to manifest. So the five senses can be used as imaginal act. It doesn't have to be just the visual. And with scripting, yes, you do something physically, but what scripting does is it puts all your attention to what you're scripting. So again, it goes back to what is happening in your mind because you're completely immersed in that story that you are writing down right now. So you need to find out for yourself or with the help of a coach which type of work works for you, because you manifest better and easier if it's easy and pleasant for you, if you're having fun. I have fun visualizing. Some people don't. So if you don't think it's fun, if you don't enjoy it, but you feel that you need to do it because some say, whether it's visualization or inner conversations or scripting or mental diet or whatever it is, if you don't enjoy doing it, I think it creates unnecessary resistance. Like, oh, I have to do this again because some coach said I do. And I think it's true that we all have our best thing that manifests, and that we teach that. But just because I say something, something works for me, doesn't mean that thing works for you just as well. But it also doesn't mean that you are not a good manifester, because we are all great manifestors because we manifest whether we like it or not. So it's a matter of finding what works for you. Just like when you find out what job you want, like you need to find something that you like doing. Otherwise, it becomes really heavy to get out of bed and go to work every day. It's the same with the manifestation process. When you become conscious and you know that you have to do the work because you manifest. And I have all this negative programming from the past. If I don't do anything, it's on autopilot. It will just keep manifesting. I don't want that. So I do have to do the job. But then you have to figure out what is the job for you specifically. We are all unique.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that it's, one thing that comes up with the whole imagining thing, people say like, oh, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Well, interesting thing about that is if I say to most people, like, okay, if I say the word lemon, do you see lemon in your mind? Most people, right? And you get like the feeling, most people, I think it's like 95% of people actually would see and they would have the sensation of a lemon. So we all can, in a way, visualize something. But oftentimes when people start doing this whole technique thing, and I have to end all these like very, very finite, microscopic, wanting to like micromanage it, like, hey, Anna, do I have to imagine the end scene living in the end? Where's living in the end? What's living in the end? Is it first person, third person? Like it gets very, very overwhelming. Then number one, when you're in that overwhelmed state, you're focusing on what you don't want because your consciousness is focusing on overwhelm. So you're creating overwhelm as a baseline. And then you're trying to pick apart this thing instead of it just being something that's just easier to implement, that you're allowing to happen through you. And like I said last week in the last video, that all of us have a dominant learning system. You're dominantly visual, you're dominantly kinesthetic. Feelings is kinesthetic. You're dominantly visual, you see things in the mind, or you're dominantly auditory. And hearing is how you learn, you guys. So think about that for yourself. Like when you learn something, like when you learn a new task or you learn a language, do you learn it through feeling the language in your body? Do you learn it through hearing the language spoken, or do you learn it by seeing the language? That's one way to look at it, right? So it's like everyone's mind is a unique snowflake, and you got to do what works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact about that. I came to think while you were talking, pianists. There are pianists, and maybe not only pianists, but musicians, instrumentalists in particular. I think if you're a musician, please comment down below if I'm right. I think it's the Russian technique. When they learn a new piece, they take the score and they learn it by reading it before even touching the instrument. They learn it by heart through just the score, and then they put it away and they know the piece, and then they play it. They have memorized everything. So it's like how you use. Some people learn very quickly when they hear something. They hear a melody and then they know what to play.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, and also sometimes you find out what you're best at by trying things. You try. It's okay. Like in the beginning, that is okay if you're new, and because you are learning about yourself through manifesting. So you try out things, and then you find out what works best for you. I also have been manifesting a lot, and I have been using different techniques, and there are several that work for me. But I'm still finding out new things or easier ways to do things, because you make things easier. As the more you do, the more you find ways to make it easier, quicker, less resistance, like finding ways to not have resistance, because you learn that you manifest. I have this power. This doubt that comes up, you learn to deal with it better, and like you figure out things. And also a lot of old beliefs, old limiting beliefs, old stories that you have been telling yourself that you didn't know. Sometimes you start manifesting something, and then something pops up and you go, oh, am I still thinking this? Really? Like, this is really old. And then you know what to work on, and you know how to work on it, because you have been trying a lot of things. So a lot of experience in manifesting, a lot of like figuring out what works for you comes through doing it. Just do it. Sometimes you need to do it even before you understand what you need to do, but just do it. Like, again, the same thing in music. I was just using music as an example. Sometimes the teacher explains something to you and you don't quite understand it until you take the instrument and you actually play it, and then you see the problems. Oh, so this is what I need to work on. It's the same thing with manifestation. You just start doing it, try out, and then you see, is this working for me? Maybe. Let me try some more. Let me try something else. But then at some point you have to choose. It's the beginning that you need to try out this, that, new things. But at some point, choose what's easier. Because again, it's not what you are doing that manifests. It's still your subconscious mind that is manifesting, just like before. You are just finding ways to impress it easier and ways that work for you.
Right. Because if we go back to the analogy of the brain, we're just using your conscious thinking, whether it's through your imagination and visualization or a sound, or if you're doing affirmations, like you're doing intention setting, that you're impressing a new belief system in your subconscious mind, so that your subconscious mind is the one that creates it and pushes it out, because the subconscious is always the one that creates on your behalf anyways. So, and I think it's interesting because over the years, I've tried so many different things, but now I know what works for me is that I do intentions and I see them. I see them in my mind. So I'm a visual person, but I also have a lot of inner dialogue. So when I want to change something, I work on creating my plan, right, of what I'm going to focus on. And then I see them in my mind because I know that I'm visual, which is always, and it's so funny, Anna, because there's always these gender things, like all men are visual, right? I think a lot of, Anna's rolling.
I was just heavily rolling my eyes over here.
Rolling her eyes. Because I remember once I learned about all this, and I hear people say that it's like, no, like there's actually a lot of men who are kinesthetic, very much in their feelings, or, it's like, none of that's true. It's just, how does your mind work, right? And so I know that I'm a visual person, but I only figured it out through trial and error, that I have to see my intentions in my mind. Because like, if I was to hear someone say something, it doesn't land for me. It feels like so much hard work and it doesn't work for me. So I know, going again back to the mind, there's the conscious mind, subconscious, and you have the critical filter. You have a gatekeeper that wants to hold all the information in the subconscious in place. I'm using myself as an example because I think it'll help people relate. Like when I start to auditory hear someone say something, my critical faculty gets really, really strong, because it's like, oh no, Alexis, we're not doing that. Because it's not getting the information in. So there's so much resistance. My mind feels like I'm doing like Tetris, it just feels like, meh, meh, meh. So like, I know that. So what's the point of even doing that, right? So I know what works for me, but it has been through trial and error. And it's through also deciding at some point that it was going to be a lifelong process. And I had to do what I could do forever. Like hearing audio sounds for me forever would be torture. I'd be like, what? I'm not doing this. I'm going back to sleep, Yeah,
the same with me. I also tried started with trying things, and then you learn new things, and then you try them. A lot of things have worked for me, but again, I also couldn't keep doing something that I don't enjoy. And I think a lot of people are confused about this, when a lot of coaches say it needs to be fun, and people don't understand, how can this be fun? I'm manifesting an SP and they're with someone else, all this resistance. But if you find something that you have fun with, daydreaming, visualizing, some people have the conversations, it automatically becomes fun, because it's something that is so natural that you do with, generally, except from manifesting that specific person or that specific job or whatever you're manifesting now. So yes, it can be fun. And also, I also want to say, if you want to try a new technique that you want to learn, you can train it if you want to, but you don't have to. You can't just use what's working for you. But I think if you're, some people say, I don't see images clearly in my mind. I only see shapes and some colors, but I want to learn. You can train it. Have patience with yourself. train it while you're doing that other things that have been working for you until then. But if not, you don't have to do visualization just because I say it works, or keep affirming all day because I say it works. I had a client who said, I hate repeating affirmations all day. I can't do it. I go crazy. I just want something simple to do in a few minutes, and then because I have manifested small things with this, but then I have this big desire, which I have a lot of resistance to. Well, it works the same way for small things, big things. Your awareness, which is manifesting, doesn't care whether you call it small, big, a lot of time, little resistance, whatever. All those are labels that we put on things. Your awareness doesn't care. Just choose the easiest way.
Right. Well, like the more that you say these things, like there's so much resistance and it's so hard and so difficult. And it's like, that's not what you want. Like your awareness is then focused on it being difficult, giving you more information that's difficult, making it so hard, and like making it the issue into a huge, huge tissue, right? Doesn't need to be that big of a deal, but like wherever your focus is what you're creating, is what you're creating more of. So it's like, because I think just to bring it home here, the first idea about this topic is that it's causing overwhelm for people. Oh my God, so many techniques. How do I do it? What do I do? And like that, we don't want you to ever feel like that, because then you create more of this. Like it's like that facepalm emoji that you like want to go in put the covers over your head and you're like, oh my gosh, life's too difficult. Like we just don't want to, we want to focus on like training your perspective to not go there as much and to go there less and less and less, because the more you're there, you're creating more of that with your thoughts. So let's just, focus on understanding your mind, knowing this can be simple, knowing it can be fun, and that it can be an addition to your life. And you guys, like if you don't know how to do those things, then Anna is available for coaching, because sometimes we need someone to be an outside perspective looking in to tell you a lot of times what not to do as you implement what you should be doing, and having the voice of someone who is I don't want to use the term third party, who is an outside view, right? Like someone that can look on the situation is so helpful, so that you don't get in that overwhelm and you understand what you're doing from a perspective of wanting the best for you and, wanting you to get what you want, I think is really helpful.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes we coaches need coaching too, right? Because when it's something is so personal, you don't see the problems. And the reason I wanted to talk about this topic in particular is that when my client asked me about this, like I feel like I'm going crazy with this technique. I remembered I was exactly like that in the beginning when you're learning. Like I was also thinking that, okay, I tried this technique, it didn't work. Then I need to try this technique, it didn't work. Then this new thing comes up on YouTube. I tried that, it didn't work, and you go nuts. And the problem with it, we also always say persist. You don't persist when you try new things all the time. You need to persist. It needs to create a habit for you. It needs to create a habit in your mind to think that way or visualize that scene. Persistence means not only in the story, but also in what you're doing. Like doing the same thing over and over again creates a new habit in your mind, a new way of a new programming. Like that's how you change the programming, by repeating it over and over again. And you also create the programming by feeling it real. That also creates, but you come to that through finding the, say, technique that works for you. That solves the problem, because again, trying out new things all the time, you're just, I don't want to say it, but I have to, like, wasting time. This. It's not working because it can't work in 2 days when you have been telling this old story for 10 years. You can't just do something in 2 days. It didn't work. Now I need to try a new thing. You need to persist.
Yeah. And persist in what's working, and persist until you get it, because the clients that do that are the ones that get what they want. And we just don't want to persist in overwhelm or persist in doing a whole bunch of things, because then you're not also being simplistic. And really, if we come back to the whole point here is to impress the subconscious mind, you're not going to ever impress the subconscious mind by trying to manipulate yourself either. So it's like you can't manipulate people in your 3D reality, and you can't manipulate your subconscious mind. You can't conjure it in. In fact, you have to do the opposite, which is the other reason why you want to focus on what works for me naturally. How do I manifest naturally? What have I always done before I knew that I was doing this to get what I want, right? Because then it happens easily. Because the last thing I could say about this is like your subconscious mind, you can't manipulate it, you guys. You can't like, the more that you manipulate it, the more that you try to conjure it in, then that critical faculty, the gatekeeper, gets like so strong. It's like, oh, no, 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 no. We're going to keep you stuck in that same reality. Sorry, boo-hoo. Yeah. Because your subconscious is there to keep you safe. Like it just does what it does because it's on autopilot. So anyways, moral of the story, keep it safe, keep it simple. If you need help in figuring it out, what to do to keep it simple, then please book with Anna, because like I always say, she's a law of attraction expert, you guys. So that's our video for today. We hope that you found it helpful, and please let us know in the comments what you think about this and what your ideas about how to hack your own mind bring up for you, and just what your thoughts are about it. We'd love to hear, because Anna and I do check the comments and try to respond as soon as we can. So one more time, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Make today awesome. Bye.